You wake in the stillness of night, the red glow of the clock marking 1:17 a.m. The air feels heavy, almost warning you to stay in bed, but curiosity pulls you into the hallway. Then, through thin crack of light, you hear the words that shatter the world you thought you knew. Don't worry, your sister will cover it all. In that moment, your heart sinks. The very voices you trusted, your father, your brother, are quietly planning to make you their escape for a debt that isn't yours. You pause, breath caught, wondering, how far can family push before love becomes betrayal? Stay with this story, and if it resonates, a gentle like and subscribe will help us continue sharing truths that echo deep within. You stand frozen in that dark hallway, the words echoing long after the voices have faded. The air feels colder, heavier, as if the walls of your childhood home are leaning closer, pressing in on you with truths you've avoided for years. Slowly, you return to your room, shutting the door softly, heart pounding like it might give you away. On the edge of your bed, you sink into memories that suddenly take on a sharper light. Because this wasn't the first time. There were always next times. The little crises that never seemed to end, always dressed as emergencies, always wrapped in the same quiet expectation that you would fix it. You remember the year your father's dealership was struggling, how he looked you in the eye, saying it was only temporary, and you transferred $5,000 without hesitation. The summer Camden's car broke down, you dipped into savings to cover the $2,200 needed for repairs. The family trip last year when an unexpected $3,000 problem appeared, and everyone looked your way like you were the safety net designed just for them. It seemed harmless at first, almost noble. Isn't that what family is for, helping each other through the hard seasons? That's what you told yourself, what they taught you. And so you reached into your pocket again and again, until the pattern was so familiar you barely noticed you were the only one ever paying. Your brother, Camden, always had a way of escaping the weight of responsibility. He was the dreamer, the entrepreneur, close quote, praised for chasing ventures that somehow never took flight. You remember the restaurant dinner just hours earlier, his laughter filling the space as he talked about blockchain projects and passive income. Your mother's eyes glowed with pride. He has such an entrepreneurial spirit, close quote, she gushed, squeezing his arm. 5 years of failures, yet still celebrated as if each stumble proved his brilliance. And you were the steady one. The one who quietly paid the bill when Camden patted his pockets and announced, "I'll get you next time, sis." But there never was a next time. Just another performance, another excuse, another round of applause for his charisma, while you quietly carried the cost. Sitting in that small twin bed, the glow in the dark stars from your childhood barely clinging to the ceiling, you see the pattern with painful clarity. Your sacrifices weren't invisible, they were convenient. The family had learned to lean on you, not because they couldn't manage, but because it was easier to let you handle the weight. The memories come sharper now. Your 16th birthday, when Camden crashed the family car. Your father laughed it off, boys will be boys. That same year, you came home 10 minutes past curfew. 2 weeks grounded. Camden's mistakes were adventures. Yours were lessons and responsibility. You remember the Washington trip in high school. Other kids asked their parents for the fee, but you worked 3 jobs: groceries, babysitting, mowing lawns, until you had the full amount. The pride you felt handing that envelope to your teacher was quickly dimmed by your father's words. Most parents just write a check. He didn't see sacrifice. He saw inevitability. You would always find a way, no matter how much it cost you. College made the truth undeniable. When it was time for applications, your father sat you down. "We've been saving for Camden's degree," close quote, he said, not quite meeting your eyes. "You're responsible. We know you'll figure something out." And you did. Scholarships, loans, late nights working at the library and the cafe. While Camden partied through his first year, you memorized every cent of your repayment schedule. And figure it out you did. You built a life in Chicago, one paycheck at a time. A condo, a savings account, an emergency fund, a credit score most people only dream of. Years of saying no to vacations, of bringing lunch from home while co-workers ordered takeout. Every small sacrifice built a quiet security you now call your own. But to your family, that security isn't your achievement. It's their solution. The evidence was everywhere, you just hadn't wanted to see it. The automatic utility payments you set up years ago during your father's temporary cash flow issue never got switched back. For 4 years, you've unknowingly paid the electricity, the internet, the streaming services for their house. Your sacrifice was not forgotten. It was assumed. And now, it isn't just about small bills or emergencies. It's about $65,000. A loan in your name. A plan whispered in the middle of the night, dressed up as an investment opportunity, but carrying the weight of debts your brother racked up chasing Vegas weekends and designer clothes. The thought makes your stomach twist. Because this time, the cost isn't just money. It's your identity, your credit, your future. You look at the laptop glowing on your desk, fingers trembling as you open a blank document. The title appears almost instinctively. Financial self-defense. For the first time in your life, you are not making a list for them. You are making one for yourself. Credit freeze. Fraud alerts. Password changes. Every item feels like armor. The strength you always carried for others, now redirected to protect you. The house is silent again, but your mind is loud with realization. Family isn't meant to be an endless withdrawal. And you are not a bank. Your heart aches as you think of the little girl who once taped those glow-in-the-dark stars to her ceiling, dreaming of a family that would always lift her up. Tonight, you see clearly. Sometimes love disguises itself as duty, and duty becomes a chain. But chains can be broken. As the first light of dawn creeps through the curtains, you feel something unfamiliar. Resolve. You know now that you must stand your ground, even if it means standing alone. And as you sit with that truth, I want to pause and speak directly to you, the one listening. If you've ever felt the weight of responsibility placed unfairly on your shoulders, you'll understand the choice ahead. Stories like this remind us that setting boundaries is not betrayal, it is survival. If you wish to keep walking with us through journeys that speak to the quiet struggles many live but never say aloud, your support matters. A simple like or subscribe, done in your own time, helps us keep telling stories that echo where words often go unspoken. The list on your laptop glows faintly, each bullet point a promise you've never dared to make before, or not to them, but to yourself. Credit freeze. Fraud alerts. Passwords. Two-factor authentication. Cancel automatic payments. The words feel like bricks in a wall you are finally learning to build. For the first time in years, you are not the one patching their holes. You are the one protecting your own foundation. Morning arrives too soon. The smell of pancakes drifts under your door, warm and inviting, as if last night never happened. When you step into the kitchen, your mother's face lights up with the same practiced smile she has worn all your life. Sleep well? Close quote, she asks, sliding a plate toward you. The question is casual, the tone soft. But behind her voice you hear the echoes of that whisper from the study. Don't worry, your sister will cover it all. You force a smile, your fork cutting neat squares from the pancake. Fine, thanks, close quote, you reply, the words scraping against your throat like sandpaper. Your father sits at the head of the table, eyes buried in the business section of the paper. He looks up only long enough to say, your brother might need some help with his new venture. Something about blockchain. Sounds promising. His voice is smooth, casual, but you hear the undercurrent. The plan hasn't vanished. It's waiting. Your mother nods eagerly, pouring more coffee into his cup. He just needs a little startup capital. You know how these things work. The casualness of it nearly makes you laugh. Only hours earlier, in the secrecy of his office, the words were coated with manipulation and desperation. Now, over pancakes, it's dressed as opportunity. You swallow hard, then excuse yourself, asking if you can use the printer for some work documents. Your father waves a hand dismissively, help yourself. The study feels different now. The same room where your world cracked open in the dark, the same desk where their betrayal was born. You notice papers scattered near the printer tray. Curiosity gets the better of you. With trembling hands, you pick them up. Your breath catches. Credit card statements. Camden's. Line after line tells a story louder than words ever could. Charges at luxury stores, Gucci, Nordstrom. A $1,400 gaming system. Trips to Las Vegas, meals at casinos. Weekends you never knew about, paid for with money that doesn't exist. Your hands shake as you see the circled due date, the handwriting in the margin unmistakably your father's. Char's visit, discuss investment. You were the investment. A cold wave rushes through you. Every memory sharpens. Every next time was not just a favor, it was practice. Every compliment about your responsibility was not pride, it was strategy. You see it all now. Their praise was the velvet glove covering the iron grip. Back in your room, you shut the door with care, afraid the sound will betray the storm in your chest. You open your bank account, scanning every transaction. And then another realization strikes like lightning. The automatic payments. Electricity. Internet. Streaming services. For 4 years, those small amounts have quietly drained from your account. Thousands of dollars lost, not a crisis, but to their convenience. Your phone vibrates with a text. It's your cousin Jane. Camden in Vegas again. She writes, as if it's common knowledge. Your stomach drops. Again? Close quote, you type back. Her response comes quickly. Every other weekend. Posts it on his private account. Your parents follow him there. Private. Hidden from you. A second life you were never meant to see. You put the phone down, staring at the ceiling. For so long, you told yourself you were exaggerating, that maybe you were too harsh, too careful. But now the truth is undeniable. They have been siphoning your future while applauding your discipline. The memories claw back. The spelling bee trophy at 15, proudly held in your hands, while your father said, maybe next year you can win it all. The second-hand furniture in your room while Camden's walls were painted with Lakers colors, and a 55-inch television glowed at his bedside. Every choice you made to live responsibly became another reason for them to lean harder. And now, they are planning to gamble your entire life. That night, as the house falls into quiet again, you sit at the edge of the bed, fingers laced together to keep them from trembling. You whisper the truth you've been avoiding. I am not their bank. I will not be their safety net. Your chest feels tight, but underneath the fear, something else begins to grow. Clarity. This isn't just about money. It's about survival. It's about reclaiming the years that were never truly yours. The next morning, you make calls. Fraud alerts filed with all 3 bureaus. TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You hear the click of confirmation messages like locks turning in place. One by one, the doors to your future close, doors that no one else can open without you. Your phone buzzes again. Chloe, your closest friend. Her voice is thick with sleep. Char, it's almost 2 in the morning. What's wrong? Close quote, you swallow hard. They want to use my name for a $65,000 loan. Silence. Then her voice sharpens. Those manipulative people. What are you going to do? Close quote, you look at the glow in the dark stars, faded but still clinging to the ceiling. For a moment, you see the child who once trusted too easily. Then you answer, steady this time. I'm shutting down this bank. The decision feels final, but the path ahead still looms uncertain. You know they won't give up easily. But you also know this. For the first time in your life, you are no longer playing their role. And now, as you sit with that heavy but liberating truth, I want to pause and speak again to you, the one listening, the one who might feel those words echo in your own chest. Sometimes, the hardest step is not saying yes, but daring to say no. If this story stirs something familiar in you, let it remind you that boundaries are not walls, they are lifelines. And if you'd like to keep walking with us through stories that speak to the quiet corners of family and resilience, your gentle support means more than you know. A like or subscribe, given when your heart feels moved, helps us continue shining light on the paths too many walk alone. The calls begin 2 days later. At first, they are ordinary, just your mother's voice asking about your drive back to Chicago, your father's casual message about the weather. But beneath every word, you hear the hum of an engine warming up, ready to move toward its true purpose. You ignore most of them, focusing on your checklist, watching each confirmation email arrive like a shield sliding into place. Still, you know the confrontation is inevitable. When the video call finally comes, your heart pounds so hard you think they'll hear it before you even answer. The screen fills with familiar faces, your father in the center, his confident smile practiced. Your mother leaning in, smoothing her hair as if this were any other family catch-up. Camden slouched in the corner, eyes barely meeting the camera. There's a girl, close quote, your father says warmly. We were just talking about you. The words land differently now. You no longer hear affection. You hear calculation. You steady your voice. I heard everything 2 nights ago. A silence spreads across the screen, heavy and charged. Your father's smile flickers, then settles back in place, but now they sound different, less like wisdom, more like a weapon. You breathe slowly, then answer, your voice steady but heavy with truth. Yes. You raised me to be responsible. And I am. That's why I'm telling you. There will be no co-signing. No loans. No transfers. Camden finally lifts his head, his face flushing. You've always been selfish, close quote, he spits. All that money in Chicago, while your family struggles. What kind of person does that make you? Close quote, the insult lands, sharp and cruel. But this time, you don't retreat. Your chest tightens, then releases, and you hear yourself answer with clarity you didn't know you had. It makes me the kind of person who works for what she has. The kind who is tired of being your personal bank. Your father leans forward, the old authority creeping back into his tone. Now listen here, but you interrupt, louder this time, the words spilling like water breaking through a dam. No. You listen. Any attempt to use my identity will result in a police report. I've frozen my credit at all 3 bureaus. And I've cancelled the automatic utility payments. You have 2 weeks to arrange new methods for electricity, internet, and streaming. After that, it's no longer my concern. Your mother gasps, a hand covering her mouth. You wouldn't leave us without electricity, close quote, she whispers, as if the idea itself is unthinkable. 2 weeks is generous, close quote, you reply, voice trembling but firm. Far more consideration than you showed me when you planned to risk my future. Camden surges forward, his voice breaking with anger. We weren't stealing. We were borrowing. There's a difference. You look at him, exhaustion settling deeper than any rage could reach. Not when you have no intention of repaying. I saw your statements in the printer. Designer clothes. casino weekends. A gaming system that cost more than I ever spent on myself. While I was paying for your electricity. The color drains from his face. He mutters something under his breath and storms away from the screen, leaving the frame shaking slightly as he passes. Only your father remains, staring at you as if he doesn't recognize the person on the other side. His mask slips entirely now, anger twisting his features. After everything we've done for you, the sacrifices we made, this is how you repay us. Close quote. You lean closer, your eyes steady. What sacrifices exactly? My second-hand furniture while Camden had a bedroom makeover. My 3 jobs to afford the Washington trip while you handed him spending money. Or maybe you mean saving for his college while I figured out my own. Close quote. Your mother begins to cry openly, her shoulders shaking. Your father's eyes narrow, but his voice lowers, almost quiet now. We're your family, close quote, he says finally. You don't turn your back on family. You sit straighter, every nerve in your body awake. I'm not turning my back, close quote, you answer. I'm standing my ground. The call ends abruptly, his finger stabbing at the disconnect button. The screen goes black, but the silence that follows is not the suffocating kind you've known for years. It is different, raw, but freeing. Your phone lights up almost immediately. Camden's texts appear one after another, first pleading, then angry, then cruel. You silence the notifications, set the device face down. The storm outside your screen rages, but inside you, something new has begun to settle. You walk slowly through your apartment, fingertips brushing against the walls, the furniture, the life you built with your own hands. For so long, you carried the quiet fear that all of it could be taken, that your success was fragile in the shadow of the needs. But now, with each step, you feel the truth settling deeper. You are no longer theirs to drain. You stand by the window, looking out at the city lights stretching endlessly beyond you. Somewhere in that vast skyline is the version of yourself you nearly lost, the one who deserved peace, security, and the freedom to breathe without waiting for the next request. Tonight, you choose her. The texts keep buzzing, but you don't look. The emails arrive, but you don't open them. For the first time in years, you are not rushing to fix, to soothe, to repair. You are simply still. And in that stillness, you discover something you never thought you would. Strength in refusal. The night deepens, and with it, the silence grows comfortable. You know there will be more battles ahead, rumors, accusations, guilt sharpened into words. But you also know this. The hardest part is behind you. You spoke the truth aloud, not only to them but to yourself. And when you finally turn off the light and slide beneath the covers, the weight in your chest has shifted. It is no longer the crushing burden of responsibility. It is the solid, steady weight of resolve. The silence after the video call doesn't last long. By the next morning, the storm arrives in waves. First come the texts, piling up in relentless numbers. Pleading ones at dawn, just this once, help us, we'll pay you back, followed by sharp accusations by noon, you think you're better than us, and then the cruel messages by night, words designed to dig under your skin. You learn quickly to stop looking. Each notification that lights your screen feels like a match held too close to your chest. So you silence the phone, turning it face down, refusing to let their voices seep into your hours. Still, the vibrations continue, as if your apartment itself is trembling under their persistence. But the storm does not confine itself to your phone. Soon, it spreads outward, reaching corners you once thought safe. Your father calls your manager at work, spinning tales of your supposed instability. Your mother posts vague messages on social media, lines about ungrateful children, about betrayal, about family sacrifice unreturned. The comments gather like leaves in the wind, hometown acquaintances chiming in with sympathy, none of them knowing the truth. It hurts more than you expect. Not because you believe their words, but because you recognize the precision of their aim. They know your reputation has always mattered to you. They know you've carried yourself with care, worked tirelessly to be seen as steady and trustworthy. Now, in a matter of days, they try to unravel that fabric thread by thread. The calls change, too. Not just from them, but from others. Your aunt reaches out from the airport, claiming she's been sent to talk sense into you. Old neighbors leave messages laced with guilt. Even your pastor's voice appears one evening, urging you to remember that family is God's greatest gift. Each attempt is dressed differently, some in concern, some in anger, some in faith, but all serve the same purpose: to bend you back into the shape you once held. But you are not bending this time. Instead, you begin to document. Every voicemail saved, every text screenshot, every vague Facebook post captured with a timestamp. You upload the late-night recording to a secure drive, the one moment that revealed their plan beyond denial. Each piece of evidence becomes a brick in the fortress you are quietly building. Boundaries form quickly after that. You create a separate folder for family communication, checking it only once a day, with a trusted friend by your side. You let calls roll into voicemail, no longer feeling the tug to answer. You meet with your financial advisor, who assures you your accounts remain untouched, your assets beyond their reach. And then, when the harassment escalates into in-person confrontations, you realize it is time for the next step. The attorney's office feels calm, almost sterile compared to the chaos you carry inside. You lay down the portfolio of evidence, printed emails, transcribed voicemails, the recording, and watch as she reviews each page with steady eyes. They've crossed lines already, close quote, she says gently. The next line is legal. You nod, your hands folded tightly in your lap. The words are heavy, but they also feel like release. Days later, the certified package is sent. A cease and desist letter, comprehensive and clear, documenting not only the harassment, but the financial exploitation you've endured for years. Alongside it, a timeline of events, each step outlined with precision. And most damning, a copy of the recording that captured their late-night plan. The explosion is immediate. Your father's voice roars through the phone, demanding answers. How dare you? Close quote, he shouts. After all we've done for you. Close quote. But this time, you do not flinch. You listen to his words, to the anger crackling through the line, and then you answer with calm you've earned. You gave Camden everything, close quote, you say quietly. You taught me to work for what I wanted. Now I am protecting what I earned. Your mother calls next, her tone sharper, stripped of pretense. Why should you have more than your brother? What makes you so special? Close quote, the honesty stuns you, cutting deeper than any lie. For years, you believed they favored him because he needed more help. But here, laid bare, is the truth. They resent your success. You close your eyes, letting the pain wash over you, then answer softly. I'm not special. I just worked harder. I made different choices. The community whispers shift quickly after that. Some defend your parents, repeating their stories of sacrifice and struggle. But others begin to see cracks in the narrative. Your cousin slips you quiet updates how Camden has taken up long shifts at a gas station and a pizza place, how your parents cancelled their anniversary trip, how the mask of control is slowly breaking. For the first time, the tide is not only against you. The truth, like water seeping through stone, begins to find its way out. But victory doesn't feel triumphant. It feels quiet. Lonely, at times. You sit at your window, watching the sunset over the city, the colors spilling like fire across the glass. You wonder if peace always feels this way, not as a celebration, but as a silence after years of noise. The harassment doesn't vanish. There are still calls you don't answer, still posts you don't read, still whispers you cannot stop. But inside you, the balance has shifted. Their words no longer hold the same weight. Their attempts no longer pierce the same way. Because you know, without hesitation now, that you are no longer theirs to use. You think back to that moment in the hallway, the golden strip of light under the study door, the words that once threatened to break you. Don't worry, your sister will cover it all. They were wrong. You are no longer the one who covers, who carries, who pays. You are the one who stands, who chooses, who endures. And though the journey is far from over, you know this truth has already changed everything. The night settles around you. The city hums below. And in the quiet of your apartment, you finally exhale. Not with fear, not with sorrow, but with the weight of someone who has drawn a line and knows she will not cross it again. The weeks that follow bring a new kind of quiet. Not the